Hello friends, welcome to 3 Minute Game Pass. I'm Nathan, and today I'm going to tip this Game Pass game is worth your time and bandwidth. Today's game is Archvale. What happens when you mix a bullet hell game with The Legend of Zelda? No, Enter the Gungeon was not the right answer. Try again. It's Archvale, and here's a review of it. Archvale is an Xbox and PC cross-release that does have cross-achievements, though not cross-saves. It doesn't have any upgrades for any current systems, but it is a pixel game, so it's not really a huge problem, and the game lasts about 8 to 10 hours. So what exactly is Archvale? Well, it's a dual-stick shooter mixed with a bullet hell game and a Zelda-esque adventure game with an emphasis on dodging and gathering and upgrading tons of weapons. You play as some guy dropped in the mystical world overrun by undead. Your basic goal, recover the pieces of the arch to restore the Archvale and save the world. To do this, you'll be traversing a world made up of separate screens, similar to games like Zelda 1, each containing a combat arena. There's also fast travel and villages scattered throughout, which serve as both bonfires and save points. The secret sauce of the game is that it's actually a dual-stick bullet hell game. Enemies attack with massive clusters of bullets, and you'll need to respond in kind. There are 3 classes of weapons in the game to counteract this: melee, ranged, and magic. Melee and ranged work as you'd think, with magic having additional mechanic of starting off weak and gaining power as you hit and kill enemies in each particular zone. Your special ability that keeps you alive through this bullet hell is being able to dodge through any projectile, negating the damage, and mastering this is the key to survival. Killing enemies grants both gold and crafting material, which you use to make new weapons or upgrades of the ones you have. Gold is used to purchase badge upgrades, which are basically passives that you can equip, as well as upgrading your gear further. Death is not super punishing, but you will lose half your money if you die, so banks are scattered throughout town to save it. Getting the specific arch pieces requires entering a dungeon, which is like a light Zelda dungeon. Inside you'll find keys to open doors, some light puzzles, and a fair amount of platforming traversal puzzles. Overall, this is a Zelda-style game with bullet hell and dual-stick shooting. Not much more needs to be said. So what do I like about Archvale? Well, this game has tons of weapons to choose from with meaningful upgrades, and they all fire different patterns and require you to change your strategy whenever you mix up your weapons, as well as mix up your build based on which weapon type you're using. I enjoyed this. They also feel like the game's difficulty is fantastic. It has an easy, medium, and hard mode, and while the game overall is difficult, even on the easy mode, it never feels unfair. The bosses in particular are standout as being fantastic challenges, and lastly, I love this game's graphics. They're very charming, and the music in particular is a standout. This is clearly a game made by people who love video games, and they put a ton of effort into making it look great and sound great. When it comes to the bad, inventory management is a bit of a disaster. You can only trash one item at once, moving stuff around is a pain, and just general inventory management overall can be very frustrating. And similarly, the crafting menu, which is a core mechanic of the game, is very obnoxious. While it does make craftable stuff be at the top of the list, it doesn't have any kind of filters or source, and you can't see what components you're using to make an item until you click on it. I feel like the entire crafting menu needs an overhaul. And lastly, the core gameplay loop doesn't mix up much. You explore, you do bullet hell combat arenas, and then you keep finding new enemies and new weapons until you hit a dungeon, and lather, rinse, repeat until you beat the game. As you know, rate games here on 3-point scale, must play, maybe consider, don't bother. I do think Archvale is a must play, and it is a hidden gem. It completely caught me by surprise, and I loved it to death. This might have just been a game made particularly for me, because I love dual stick shooters, I love bullet hell games, and I love Zelda exploration games that have meaningful progress. But yeah, the star of the show is really the absolutely insane diverse weapon sets that all fire differently and require you to constantly mix up your playstyle, which I loved. If you enjoy bullet hell games or games with a satisfying progression system like I do, Archvale is going to be your new favorite, and you should definitely check it out. That's all I have for you today. Thank you so much for watching, and go out there and enjoy the hell out of Archvale.